This is Paul Hoppy, aka GiantBuddha for DragtheBar.com. Welcome back to Hand of the Day 1. We'll pick up here right where we left off. So here we've got Flopzilla, where what I'm going to do is actually put in the flop, which was, it's kind of irrelevant. It's a 2, 3, and a 5. We don't really care so much exactly which suits. It was rainbow. That's all that matters. And now I'm going to put in my check calling range, which I expect to be ace 6, 7, 8. Maybe these suited ones, although I might 3-bet hand like ace 8 suited, even down through ace 6 suited some of the time. And king, let's see, what else am I going to check call with? I'm probably going to 3-bet some of these king highs as well. So let's say I check call with the king 4s. Let's say I check call with the king 6s. And maybe a king 7 as well. Let's see. King 8, I don't know. Maybe we'll throw that in there for now. And just take a look at how this kind of shakes out. Also, am I going to call with any 2x hands? I might. I'm trying to think. I probably would check raise this board most of the time, but we'll just throw in a few combos of those. Some of these, which might look like, I've got a draw with it, but I'm not. I'm probably check raising most of those times, to be totally honest. But we'll just throw in a couple of those on the off chance that occasionally I play it that way. So what we want to do here is begin and look here. This nothing isn't really nothing. That's my range here. So that's cumulative, right? If I put it on here, it's absolute nothing, or quote unquote nothing, which is the king high, represents 56 combos or 52.8% of my range. And I can certainly peel more hands on this board, maybe some queen jack, although I'd probably 3-bet that. Let's throw in a queen 10 off and maybe a queen 9 off, something like that. That might be my whole peeling range. Here, if I look on the flop, now I have, I'm going to go back here to cumulative because we're going to look at the total range. Here I have 130 combos on the flop. So if I call these on the flop and then the turn brings a jack of spades and I have 130 combos in my range, right? And my opponent is considering a turn bet. Well, there's 3 big bets in the pot. We put 2 big bets in pre-flop, 1 big bet on the flop. We each put in a small bet. Right? That's a big bet. We'll not worry about the small blind for now. Although in a 10-20 game, it's a little bit relevant. So he's getting 3-1 basically on a bet. So given that, he needs to win immediately 25% of the time for a bet with any 2 cards to be profitable. So one thing I can do to keep from being too exploited in this spot, or rather to keep from being exploitable, is to not fold more than 25% of my range. Out of 130 combos, 25% of my range is about 32.5 combos. Exactly. So what I want to do is take out 32 combos, and we can say those are these queen highs. That's 32 combos. We'll knock those out. And say I'm calling with the rest. And now on the river, we'll throw this up there, and I should still have 106 combos. On the river, he's getting, say, we've put 2 more big bets in, so now he's getting 5-1 on a bet. So he only needs to win that about 17% of the time. So what I can do now is fold out 17 more combos. So if I look at this 106 combos, I can fold out 17 of those, which is approximately king 4 and king 4. And that's 16 combos. I could fold some king 6 occasionally. So depending on how many of these other king X hands I can, maybe need to call down some of the time with king 4, or if I have more ace X hands that I'm not 3-betting out of the big blind, and not check raising the flop, then there are more hands that I can fold. So for instance, if I add a hand like ace 9 or ace 8, or I start adding some 2s, let's say I was check calling a bunch of 2s here, say king 2, maybe ace 2, king 2, queen 2 suited. Let's say if I play any 2 suited, which I don't necessarily do. Now if we go back to the flop, let's throw my king 4 hands back in there. Throw in not the queen jack, but the queen 10, queen 9, say. Now I've got 188 combos. So when the turn comes out, if I still have 187 or whatever combos, I can fold, instead of folding before, what was it, 30 combos, now I can fold more like 47 combos. So here I can take out these, and I can take out the king. What was this? This was 32. I said 47, so I could take out king 7 as well. And now on the river, when another jack comes off, now I have, well, this jack is no longer in my check call range because I check raised it, right? But here, 150 combos, 1/6 of that is another 25 combos. So now I can fold these and the king 6, say, offsuit. That's about 28 combos, roughly something like that, and fold almost at all the king highs. And just as far as looking at the balance of the situation, my opponent can no longer just automatically barrel off. And that's not something you necessarily always want to prevent your opponent from being able to do. I mean, if you don't think they're going to barrel, then you shouldn't spend a whole lot of time trying to keep them from having a profitable barrel. Because if they're not going to take it anyway, it doesn't really matter, right? But when you're against an opponent that you think is good, or you think that they are capable of understanding your strategy and exploiting you to the best of their ability or effectively, then this is something you can do to understand sort of how your range is distributed, to know how your check calling range on the flop affects what your check calling range should be on the turn, and thus how many hands you can check fold on the turn and how many hands you can check fold on the river, and not let your opponents really abuse you with that position. So that's just sort of one of the ways you can kind of marginalize your opponent's positional advantage by just not giving them those automatically profitable continuation bets. All right, so I'm going to wrap it up there, a little bit under 15 minutes, I think. I hope this has been entertaining. Feel free to, and informative, post on how you feel about this format. I kind of am excited about this format. I think it's a good learning tool in that, maybe you can just watch a short video before you play, not have to get involved in a whole long thing. Some of these hands might end up being 5 minutes. Some of them might be long like this. It'll depend. This has been Paul Hoppy for DragtheBar. I'll be answering questions in the Cards Chat forum as Giant Buddha. I hope you've enjoyed, and thanks for watching.